Hello, and glad to have you here. Today is day 9 of 14 of the Online Crew Video Challenge with Helen Martin. And today I am going live on my business page. And I have the topic for today is to do an interview with someone else on a dual live, which dual live just means that we're going to be side by side. So you'll be able to see the person I'm talking to and hear and see what's going on. So that's what we're going to do today. And the other part of it is I just want to let you guys know and give you something to think about while we're going through, the question, the interview process of, me talking to someone else and finding out about their life and some things that I think you'd be interested in is that there are so many people from different walks of life, ages, stages of the game, just there are just so many different people, male, female, that are involved in business building. And when I talk about business building, it's because I can't use the name of my profession on this platform that I'm on, which is Facebook. And Facebook isn't the only platform that doesn't really like the name because of connotations, negative connotations that have been a part of it. So basically, who I'm talking about is, and this profession is the belly to belly, the 3 foot rule, the list of 100, the coffee parties, the home parties, those types of things, and the chasing up your family and friends are bugging them and the chasing of strangers. So you know who I'm talking about. Just wanted to make sure that I got that out there and got that plain, but there are just so many different stages, and I'm so impressed with this young lady. And We met a little while ago online virtually, and so I was really glad that she could come and talk with me today. And I just have some questions that I'm going to ask her, but I'm going to bring her on and let her introduce herself. So here we go. This is adding her to the stream. So this is how the dual live is done. There she is.
Surprise!
I'm gonna let you just introduce yourself, and I'm going to go to my questions.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm delighted to be able to come on and support you with your 14-day challenge, which is exciting. It is, a real learning curve, and the more that we can do this sort of thing, the better for everyone. So I appreciate you giving me the time as well to jump on with you. I'm Kirsty Broder. Many of your network, I'm sure, will not know who I am. Um, and yeah, so I'm basically a fellow business builder with Sherry, and I've been working in this business for about coming up to 7 years actually now. So I've got some time under my belt, and I've been working this, on the side with other jobs when I was working full time, and also more full time now as a stay-at-home mum. I'm actually in the UK now. I connected with Sherry. Well, it's a couple of months back, isn't it? You came to my rescue, actually. I was having a bit of a difficult time, and we connected, and you gave me some gems, which enabled me to kind of get some more momentum, and I appreciate that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we connected when I was in the US, and now I've been kind of picked up and dropped back in the UK. So we are a few hours apart, aren't we? But it's great that this business allows us to connect like that, and also to kind of work in different time zones, and really find friendships that we would never have come across otherwise. So it is an amazing thing to be doing.
exactly. It really is. It's it because I have friends all over the world, and I think that that's such a great thing. And sorry, I have to remember I'm moving my notes around. So if you're hearing a little paper moving, yeah, it's just getting in my way. But yeah, so I like to look at the camera, but I was so busy looking at Christy, I wasn't looking at the camera. So, but yeah, it's just really nice to have her here. It's really nice to be able to be here and to be able to just kind of let you guys know some things and see what might really be helpful to you to know that, this is being a business builder, and what I actually told you the profession actually is that, you can get into it, compared to getting a franchise for a McDonald's or a Burger King or a whatever, or opening a restaurant or a business. It's just the one of the lowest cost and ways of getting in, and I just really, really love it. But so let me just go on and get started with our questions, because time will pass and I am a talker. So, and you guys that know me already, you're like, okay, that girl talks a lot. So let me get to it. So my first question for Kirsty, I'm sorry, for Kirsty is, what did you get into when you got out of school? Right after we've done everything that people told us to do, we finished high school, we went to college, and then what did you do from there? What
Yeah,
did,
well, I really did take the natural, the normal path, really, I guess, that was expected at the time. What I wanted to do to progress myself, I wanted to be a dentist since being a child. I went through the astronaut phase, but I wanted to be a dentist. um, and yeah, and that so I worked as I needed to jump through the hoops and get the qualifications that I needed to go to university and qualify as a dentist, which I did. And I worked in dentistry for, well, the best part of 18 years, actually in the Royal Air Force as well. So I was in the UK military. Um, yeah, and I did that, worked full time, did what I needed to do, pushed around with the military and that sort of thing.
yeah,
And kids came along and we continued to work really, really hard. And it was just really exhausting, to be honest. But yeah, that's what I did. So I studied hard and achieved my goal to that point of time.
yeah. And I was a registered nurse, so I know a little
Yes.
bit about that, working and having, your kids, and, trying to do everything that you have to do, that you need to do, that that
Mm.
and there's not really a break in there. And then sometimes we have some issues that do happen. So my second question is, what made you become attracted to doing what it is that we do now, the business building?
So we're going back a number of years, 7 years. My second child had just been born, and yeah, I just kind of felt that I had nothing really apart from the children. I had nothing really to kind of put my heart and soul into. I was on maternity leave, and my friend had started working with a company, and I thought, well, this seems like something I could do on the side as a bit of a hobby. Um, Maybe make a little bit of money on the side, but it wasn't the financial element that interested me. I just thought, actually, there's something I can get my kind of teeth stuck into and do for me in my evenings when the kids are in bed. Um, Husband is away a lot as well, so I couldn't get out of the house to go to the gym, that sort of stuff, because the kids were home, and he was maybe away. So I had nothing that I could kind of latch on to myself. So I thought, well, this is as good a bet as anything. I will give it a go. And then as time kind of ticked on a little bit, we were looking at maybe moving overseas, and I maybe couldn't work as a dentist overseas. And I'm thinking, well, actually, if I can build this business, then at least I've got some sort of financial buffer. I'm still supporting the family, not in my primary role, but in this sideline role. And then as time has moved on as well, I can actually realistically see myself not having to return to dentistry as business builds. And that for me is a good thing, because I have suffered for years with chronic neck and shoulder pain as a result of the posture from dentistry. So, my heart really, although, I loved dentistry, enjoyed the work. It's taken its toll on me, and now it's not positions that I want to put myself into really now. A sustained postures, it's quite a strenuous profession, although we're sitting on our butts all the time, you know. It's quite a strenuous thing to do, and as my body's getting older, I'm aching and creaking more. So realistically, unless my hand were absolutely forced to go back to it, I'm keen to pursue this other route. You know, and it's worked for so many other people, and there really is no reason why it shouldn't work for you or I. You know, whilst we're taking the steps and, you know, putting the work in as well to build our businesses. So that's in a nutshell. It came out of a hobby and has developed into something which is much more serious business. The sole purpose really being to continue supporting my family whilst having done a 180 really on my primary profession to now something I never ever anticipated myself doing in the past. Yeah, I think in nursing as well, you get tunnel vision into this is what I'm trained to do, this is what I can do, this is what I know. It's kind of comfortable and secure. And now we're out of our comfort zones a lot. You know, there's a lot to learn. But I love as well that I get to kind of continue to use my brain and, you know, learning on the job as well. So yeah, it's been a lifeline for me to continue to be able to connect with people, use my brain, and have that little bit of a financial buffer as well.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome because
Does that make sense?
yeah, I hope it does because I really like what you've said because you said, you know, you wanted something for you and you started it off as a hobby, but
Yeah.
you know, as people can see, if it can start off as something as a hobby and then turn into something that's more meaningful
Mm,
and fruitful as well, then
mm,
you know it's really something. And for me, I you know became disabled similar, you know, except for I mean she's not disabled, but I am, and I you know am much older. So when I started, you know, business building like 20 plus years ago, and I did it off and on, and you know, and I kept thinking, you know, well, you know, whenever it wasn't really working out and it wasn't a lot of the time, I just decided that I would, you know, just go back and do more extra nursing, which was really weighing on my body. And I think I
yeah.
didn't, I don't, when I think about it now, I can see it. Back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
I really couldn't. You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't something that I thought about. I just kept working, 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 taking care of my kids, taking care of my kids. And I'm a single
Mm,
parent. So it was just really kind of hard.
mm,
But then doing this, I feel like I can still help people. I can
mm.
still help those people that I want to serve. And
Yeah.
I can, you know, I'm learning a totally different way of doing it, which is so awesome. And you know,
Yeah.
that's why I really, you know, so you got a registered nurse here, you got you know, a dentist, you know, certain parts of the jobs that we were doing just started to weigh on our bodies and cause
Yeah.
issues. And so, you know, then we had to look for something else. And I really am so thankful and grateful that this profession was out there for me. It was
Mm,
out there so I can do this online. I can, you know, come on and do live videos and hopefully, you know, give people what it is that they need, that they are looking for, help somebody, you know, and I really, really do appreciate that, and I'm very thankful for that.
yeah.
So, one question: given what you know now and what you're doing now, would you ever want to stop and go back to what you used to do?
um, I do get asked that question quite a lot, actually, and it was an easy answer when I was over in America because I couldn't do the dentistry, so it was, you know, it just wasn't even an option. Um, back in the UK now, the pull is there because it pays well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a juggling act because, you know, what I may earn, I'm paying for on the other hand with my health
Yeah.
and with pain. Um, and it has to become a balancing act between quality of life
Yeah.
over financial reward, to my
Right.
mind.
Right.
I also, life events change you as well, I think. I lost my dad May last year.
Mm.
You end up, it changes your perspective on life when all of a sudden you have a realization of actually, we're not all we have a finite amount of time, and nobody knows how long that is.
Right.
I always thought I was going to live forever. So what I have now, from a quality of life perspective, my I take my kids to school and I pick them up from school at school close. They're not in before and after school clubs, which they were when I was working 8 till 5, 8 till 5:30 every day, 5 days a week. I'm there for them so much more than I ever was before, and I don't want to have to go back to that. So for me, this business is a way to retain that quality of life. Um, okay, I'm nowhere near covering my dental salary, but that's not to say that in time I will. And everybody moves through this kind of business, in their own times, because we're all working different hours, we all have different challenges. Um, but I'm not really prepared right now to go back into a dental surgery, and work for somebody else and give half of what I earn to the practice principal. All of those things just don't, they're not serving me really. They're serving patients, which is important,
Right.
but they're not serving me. So that's why I'm keen to continue to do what I'm doing online in the social media space, because it's simple to do. Really, anyone can do it. You don't need any qualifications.
Yeah.
There's no 5 years or 3 years of training.
Yeah.
Um, it it really is something that anyone can give a go at. And I do say to people who connect with me, if they're kind of on the fence, I'm like, they're kind of leaving money on the table, because it's a business that anyone can do. It's not necessarily easy, but it is a business which anyone can do, and it
Right.
does provide opportunities to to build behind the scenes. Like, I when I got started, and my little boy was little, I then started. I went back to work after my maternity, and I was working full time. I then started a postgrad as well. I did 2 years of a postgrad, which was online distance course. So I was studying as well, and being a kind of part-time single mum with a husband who was away a lot. So really juggling it all, and the business
Wow.
was a hobby, um, but it is possible to do it, and people do
Yes.
in the pockets of their time. So yeah. So in a nutshell, no, not really wanting to go back into doing dentistry. Um,
Okay.
so I'm keen to just continue to build this.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's what I was kind of wondering. I kind of thought you were gonna go there. Uh,
Mm,
I had to actually stop, because every now and then I would think about, going back, or how, and then it's like, okay, how can you do that? And you're disabled, you know, you know. And I remember
yeah,
certain things that
yeah,
I tried, but I really like what I'm doing. I love being able to help people, and I love being able to help them
mm,
in this profession, and I love being able to do it online using social media. So
mm.
basically, looks like we talked longer than I thought. So I'm gonna go on and yeah. So I'm gonna go on and thank Kirsty for coming on. I really, really hope you got some value from what she had to say, from her life, from what happened to how she got into being a business builder and how she has high hopes, and I do as well. I'm determined to be at the top.
Mm.
But I know that it's going to take me a little time as I continue to learn and grow, and then I'm able to then, turn around and help someone else up, give someone else a leg up or a hand up, or, help someone else to continue to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And they can then, get out of what they're in, because a lot of people are thinking about, that the retirement, especially baby boomers, we're thinking,
Hmm.
retirement, huh? Okay, well, not looking so good.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm seeing this as, the rest of my life, and what I'm going to be doing. And I'm really pushing hard to learn and continue to grow my skill sets, which I've got, a great amount, but I continue to learn because there's always something to learn and continue to grow. And I really do appreciate that. And I just want to thank you so much for coming, because you took what I was thinking and you were able to just, say it with you as being a dentist. And yeah, there are people that are realtors. There are people that, and they may want to stay in that. There are people that are in insurance. There are so many different types of people and people from so many walks of life, like I said
Yeah.
before. And so I don't want to belabor this, and because I'm a talker, so I don't want to keep going. So I want to thank you all for coming, though, and listening. And I hope that you did get some value from this, because this was really, really saying a lot. Just, and I won't go over what we talked about, but just saying a lot about things that you can actually think about and give a think about, what are you doing that, is it something that you can keep doing forever, or is it
Mm.
something that you are just doing because you don't have anything else? Maybe you might want to think about, looking into the profession that I talked about,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the profession that we're both in. And we're in the trenches building our businesses, and being consistent and doing the things that we have to do. So basically, that is it. And if anyone has any questions, please just direct message me. And if I need to make anything clearer for you, or if you just want to have a talk. So basically, that is it. Thank you again, Kirsty, for coming. It's so nice to have a sit down and talk, and to be able to do it so that we can do it to the benefit of others. So I want to say thank you to everyone for coming, and have a good rest of your day wherever that is. And please remember, whether you're here live with me, you can put your comments in now or later, or whether you're catching us on the replay, you can do the same thing. And I will still come back and answer your questions, your comments, your opinions, whatever that is that you happen to put into the chat. So take care, and we're going to go on and say goodbye.
Take
And
care. Thank
we'll
you.
see you another time. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.